Hey there everyone, it's GG Sober Sun here before sunrise. September 30th it is. I'm going to try to read it in the low light here. There are no leaders in AA except as they volunteer to accept responsibility. The work of carrying on AA, leading group meetings, serving on committees, speaking before other groups, doing 12th step work, spreading AA among the alcoholics of the community. All these things are done on a volunteer basis. If I don't volunteer to do something concrete for AA, the movement is that much less effective. I must do my fair share to carry the load. AA depends on all its members to keep it alive and to keep it growing. Am I doing my share for AA? I think if you stick around AA long enough, it'll become obvious when you need to step up. Or some of the older members, wiser members, will say, hey, how about you share this meeting? Right? No one would ask you to chair a meeting, unless they felt you were ready and that you could handle it, that we can handle it. And I think had I done it sooner in my recovery, I could realize that, hey, sooner that there are no leaders in AA, just as it says. Maybe I would have realized that the fallacy that I had in my mind that I didn't understand was I thought that anybody that was in the room of AA when I first walked in all represented AA and knew AA perfectly and were like gurus. They understood recovery much better than I did at the time, but it doesn't mean they're experts, and it doesn't mean they're leaders. I had a very, well, of course I was 23 when I first walked into the rooms voluntarily, 16 when I walked in with my buddy. I didn't stay sober after that meeting though, sad to say, but I had to drink every drop in order to get sober, I guess. That's a good way of looking at it. Meditation for the day. When you look to God for strength to face responsibility and are quiet before Him, His healing touch causes the divine quiet to flow into your very being. When in weakness you cry to God, His touch begins healing. The renewal of your courage and the power to meet every situation and be victorious. When you faint by the way or are distracted by feelings of inferiority, then rely on the touch of God's Spirit to support you on your way. Then arise and go forth with confidence. All that to say, let go and let God. That's my take on it. There's a lot of words to say, a lot of pious sounding words, but let go and let God, surrender to win. These are quick and short platitudes, but the term platitude gets a bad rap, I think, a lot. But they're definitely quick draw, sort of like things to refer to in our mind when we get balled up. You know, the great thing about being in AA for a while is that that knot in the pit of my stomach when I'm in a situation that's emotionally charged, that flexing of the jaw muscle that would have me clench my teeth, I get a lot more sensitive to. And I can derail the emotional outburst or the emotional dysregulation, as I've recently heard it termed, and I can do something about it, which is, first and foremost, ask God at once to remove it. Ask God at once, immediately, right? So my first action, emotional or otherwise, is ask God at once to remove it. I can do that while I'm riding a bike down the road. I can do that while running. I can do that, whatever I'm doing. And that's the best thing. That's the best move. God wants us to turn to Him. He wants us to be our source of help. That looks like a movie, almost like The Truman Show. Like it's like a movie backdrop or something. It's pretty wild. Pretty awesome too. So ask God at once to remove it. Talk to somebody about it. Make amends if necessary. Turn our thoughts to someone we can help. Right? Without God, that last measure becomes codependent. It easily becomes codependent. Doesn't mean it can't be codependent when we turn to God first, right? We need to constantly check ourselves. But when we realize that we're going there, we can again stop, ask God at once to remove it. Am I helping this person because they sincerely need help and want my help? There's another one, right? Sometimes they don't want my help. So I have to be willing to walk away, regardless of the amount of help they want. They don't want the help I'm able to give, right? For example, and not exclusive to this, and it's not always the case, but when you see somebody standing on the street corner with a sign, saying homeless, and any amount will help kind of thing, it's not always the case that giving them money will help. And I can imagine most people can understand where I'm going with this. My thought is, if I don't have the time, as a general rule, not saying I've never given money to someone on the corner, but as a general rule, I want to be able to ask and connect with somebody before I give them money, right? One is to get that heart-to-heart connection, that heart-to-heart interaction, human to human. Hi, Kate. And two is to get to know another human being, you know? But also to see their heart situation. Whether they're jonesing and need a fix, or whether they're, you know, sort of, because I've met homeless people who felt entitled, you know, like, what, you need to just give me some money. I saw a guy here locally that, like, nobody was giving him any money, and he kept, like, pointing to the sign like, come on, you sons of bitches, give me some money, like, you need to help me. And that is not not humility, you know? And it's so interesting that people who are humble are more willing to receive help in their humility. Prayer for the day. I pray that I may lay myself open today to the healing touch of God. I pray that I may not falter or faint by the wayside, but renew my courage through prayer. That's it. Turn to God when these crop up. Keep coming back, y'all. Love ya. Look up. Aim up. Rise up.